Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. Hope you and Charlene are well. Anonymous from Australia. Some pretty previous videos you've done for me are weird gifts and phone terror. Recent video reminded me of what went on with my mother and youngest brother. He was diagnosed with ADHD when he was 6. He was medicated with dexamethamphetamine, meth, and eventually, because he was struggling to sleep, he had a prescription to help him sleep. But my mother didn't give that to him all the time. So basically, they put a kid on meth at 6 and then wonder why he can't go to sleep. Because of ADHD. A 6-year-old. I don't know how you diagnose a 6-year-old with ADHD, because that's what 6-year-olds are. Attention deficit disorder, all of them. It's a refusal to parent, and then they give the kid meth, prescribed meth. I was 21 when I started martial arts, and after my first lesson, I knew my brother, who was about 14, would have absolutely loved it. I believed it would have been really good for him, so I persuaded my mother to allow him to start martial arts as well. It helped that his pediatrician had been recommending it for years. I had to do most of the traveling in the end. We live in a rural area, so we had to travel for most things, but I was more than happy to do that for him. More evidence that your mother didn't want to parent. The narcissistic mother doesn't want to parent. Your brother was 6, acting like a 6-year-old. She takes him to some quack doctor. Like, yeah, he's got ADHD. Better put him on some drugs. Meanwhile, the kid just needs to be interacted with. I was more than happy to do that for him, especially when I see how much he loved it. He was a natural and did really well. Later on, I think it paid off for him in a big way. My mother made sure he received a disability pension from the government. She also received a carer's pension. Just government leeches. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They use their kids. They use anything just so they can collect the government money. That continued even after he was 18. She was convinced he'd never be able to work in full-time employment and had been telling him and anybody that'll listen. But my brother had other ideas. Even though he had no work experience or qualifications at all, he kept applying for work with the goal of full-time employment. Even though he had been guaranteed a disability pension basically for life, and of course my mother wouldn't have to get a job because she had to care for him. It's destroying their children since birth. Why? So they could use them as a government chip. Here's my government blue chip, okay? So I don't have to do anything. I could sit on my fat ass and collect taxpayer money. And let me let me mentally cripple my child so all that can happen. So I can use him as a disability blue chip. Eventually, he got a full-time job at a factory. He now still has full-time work. He owns his house and is in front of his mortgage repayments. He's married with 2 kids. He has issues just like anyone else, but I think he's amazing. I love how not only did he prove my mother completely wrong, but she also lost her cash cow. She was no longer able to claim him to be claim to be his carer, so she was free to look for a job. Of course, she weaseled her way out of that somehow, but a story, but my brother gained his own life. I'd never claim credit for what he did, but I know I played a small part in helping him. A story with a happy ending, in my opinion. Love to hear any thoughts or opinions. Take care. It goes to show you, okay? It just goes to show you, if some of us had one person that cared, one person that gave a shit, one person that invested in us as a child like you did when he was 14, and you saw all he needed was some interaction, that your mother was mentally crippling him, then you can move on with a normal life. Your mother was doing nothing but using him as, a cash cow, a government blue chip. They meant to try to mentally handicap their children to use them as a government blue chip. It's disgusting. And it just goes to show you probably how little interaction, how little caring we actually needed in all our lives to put you on a better path, to break the narcissist stranglehold. That just shows you how long most of us go through life alone and fighting these battles alone and by ourselves, with nobody who just took the smallest opportunity, the smallest gesture, say, hey, you know what? I'm 21. I'm enjoying this. I know my 14-year-old brother would enjoy this, and let me help him get out of that mental crippling of my narcissistic mother. So, good job. I'm glad he got out of it. It's really disgusting. I mean, really. And honestly, your mother should be. The government should step in and be like, what the fuck? They won't. But the government should really be stepping in at this point and being like, how are you, his mother, the person who birthed him, reared him, raised him since childhood? You're saying he's mentally deficient and unable, yet he can go out there and get a job like everyone else, pay his bills, have a family, and you're trying to collect. How is she not charged with fraud? How is she not charged with fraud? It's unbelievable. So, I hope that helps. Thank you, Anonymous, for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone. I'm sorry, we don't do that. I'm getting a little confused. Or you just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it growing, supported, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away, and YouTube and Google would like that to happen sooner than later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.